When it comes to retouching your images, the best place to start retouching is before you ever take the picture. Consider this: if you have a dirty sensor, you're going to have to retouch that. If you have a dirty set, you're going to have to retouch that. So before you even take a picture, make sure your sensor is clean, your lens is clean. Make sure that there's no unnecessary spots or bits of dust or anything in your scene that you know you're going to have to retouch. And if you have things that you can't avoid, that you absolutely are going to have to retouch, like maybe prop wires holding something up, do your best to ensure that it's in a position that'll make it easy to retouch. Try not to have lines crossing where one will have to be erased and the other won't, for example. Just pay close attention to the image. Keep in mind that somebody's going to have to retouch this later, whether that's you or if you're hiring someone and paying them. Of course, it's going to cost more if they have to do more. So just keep all that in mind and try and keep your image as clean as possible. But invariably, there's going to be some work that you need to do. So let's take a look at some of the retouching basics that we can do inside of Lightroom. This is one of the images we shot in the course, and it is looking pretty good. But if you look closely along the bottom of the metal or aluminum that the statue is sitting on, there are quite a few spots in there, things that we simply could not remove while cleaning it. Well, maybe there's a few that we could have removed, but one way or another, they're still there. So we need to get rid of that. In Lightroom and also in Photoshop, this is quite easy to do. In Lightroom, I'll go ahead and grab the cloning brush here. And I can change the size of the cloning brush by using the scroll wheel or two-finger scrolling on the trackpad, and then simply go over any spot that I want to remove and click it. Now, if when you first do that, nothing appears to happen other than the spot disappearing, tap the H key on your keyboard. That's going to reveal the spot and the clone source for the retouching that you just did. I can go ahead and continue to click on other spots in the scene that I want to get rid of. And at any time, if I want to hide those spots, simply tap the H key to hide them again. You'll also notice that you can move the source. So let's just say, for example, that this spot here wasn't really retouching very well. I can grab the source of that and drag it somewhere else and see if that works any better. If you have a bigger spot like this one here, you can just open up the size of that retoucher by scrolling up and clicking there. And there's probably a pretty good example where this was not really the best location to source from. So let's just drag that over to here. And if you have a non-circular shape like this one here, I'm going to go ahead and bring the size of the brush back down again. And instead of just clicking, I'll click and drag, basically just painting across there. Once again, you can see that it has created that shape. And let me just pan over here. And if I wanted to move that location of the source, I can do that very easily as well. When you're retouching like this, it's always a good idea to zoom in to 1:1. If you're not 1:1, you may not really be seeing everything that you should. But it's also a good idea to occasionally zoom back out and make sure that the image is looking good from a distance as well. Another thing that you may find you need to do on your images is straighten them out a little bit. If you open the crop tool, you'll find that there is an angle adjustment. Now I can grab this tool and simply grab the slider itself and start to drag that left to right, and that will straighten out the image. But there's also this really handy ruler here. If I grab that and then click and drag across my horizon line, I can define exactly where the horizon is and how the image should be straight. On an image like this, it was photographed pretty cleanly, but if you have something that's a little bit crooked, this tool can be fantastically helpful. This also works vertically, so if you have a vertical line that needs to be perfectly straight up and down, you can use that to do the same thing. Finally, there's lots of other adjustments that you can do to your image as far as color, contrast, clarity, and things like that go. In this video, I don't really want to get into that, but suffice it to say, there is a ton of stuff that you can do to make your images look better. There are a ton of courses available here that will teach you how to retouch, how to do image enhancement, and so much more to all of your images using Lightroom, Photoshop, or many other apps. There's a playlist on your screen now that I encourage you to check out, and that's going to be a great place to learn a lot more than I can teach you in this very short video.